I don't have to remind myself to be appreciative, but I do have like this conscious effort to show that appreciation. And it's not to
Yeah.
say that you always have to be overly appreciating, and that, that even like, that you always have to say thank you and whatever, and the other person shouldn't expect it, but it should be there. No matter how trivial it is, that's how you get into that rut, or into that place where you're taking each other for granted, where you
Yeah.
stop appreciating the small things, where you stop showing each other that those small acts are so change, like they can really change the course of your day or your week or whatever it is. Like, just that, the other week he came, like my mother had to order I live above my mother in my own apartment, but we share a washing machine and dryer, and she had to get someone to come fix the dryer, and the dryer's on top of the washing machine. They wanted her to bring it down to the floor, and it's in such an angle that both of us can't take it down. And so my boyfriend came especially to bring it down for us.
Mm.
And the next day he came back to put it back up. He came 5 minutes, he had to go back to work. And it's like one of those things where you do something for someone because he knew that if he didn't, then we won't be able to do our laundry. And he was like, I'm just gonna do it, and it's fine, and it's fun. And I'm like, no, and just that, well, it's not a small, I mean, that's kind of, I guess it's not that small, but even that action like changed the whole course of my week, and it improved it. And so I'm like, you have to show that appreciation, and make them feel good for it, like they made you feel good for their act of kindness, and show them that they're, I mean, yeah, I'm like babbling at this
It's
point.
it is. I understand it's showing an act of kindness. Like, these things should come naturally. And I think the point you want to make is, I consider the fact that he did that is kind of normal and expected, but it doesn't mean you need to take it for granted and not appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah.
like, when JT and I are living together, and whenever either of us kind of clear the table or do the dishes or the laundry or whatever, the other
Yeah.
will make a point of saying thank you, even though it's normal. You just have to do these things to just live in a good state. But even though it's normal, it doesn't mean that you take the other for granted. It's like, I appreciate it, you did this because it really helped me out. And even though we are in a relationship, and you should be helping me, and I, because if he hadn't done it, then it would probably say a lot about his state of mind, of just how invested is he in your relationship. So
Exactly. Yeah.
you do these things that seem normal, but it doesn't, it's just please and thank you. We teach this to the kids, where if they ask for something, they say please, and if you give them something, it's thank you. Can I have the salt, please? Here you go, thank you. That's just the way it is, and it's the
Yeah.
same in relationships.
And those small things, that small like cycle of appreciation, and doing things for each other, not only makes you want to do more good things for each other, it also connects you more, and it makes you feel closer to each other. And even if it's like by because you show your appreciation by giving them like a warm hug or a kiss, so that
Mm,
like
yeah.
creates more connection between you two. Or just the fact that that when you do something good for someone, I don't know, there's something about it that makes you, especially if they appreciate it, it makes you feel closer to them. It makes you feel my love language is acts of service. So maybe that's why. But
Yeah.
I feel like, when you do something for someone and they show that they appreciate it, then that makes, I just feel like obviously that makes you love the person who's doing something for you. But even the person who's doing something for you, he's like, I love you so much that I'm doing this. You know what I mean? I'm rambling today, but
Yeah, yeah.
you'll have to deal with it.
No, I completely get it. And it's funny how
Yeah.
we're kind of reminding people like the basics that we learned as children and that we teach our children, these are the basics, and you have to do the same in a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a small, it irks me in a special kind of way that in today's day and age, the 21st century, with all the technology and AI, we overlook the small things in life. And maybe this is something why I have an issue with Valentine's Day a bit, because Valentine's Day is over the top and we expect it to be like grand gestures. And we forget that it's the small, simple things in life that
Yeah.
make the biggest impact
Yeah.
and make the biggest change. And we often tend to overlook them. And so, when there's a rotten smell in the house and you don't know what it is and you have to look for it, and maybe you end up finding, I haven't, this stuff happened to me, but like, and then you end up finding like this tiny little rat hidden somewhere, like that you overlook, because it's like that small thing that's hiding somewhere and you can't see it because you're too focused on the big things, on
Yeah.
finding someone who's going to blow your mind, or find someone who's always going to excite you, and you're going to live from rush to rush, and like and it's so unhealthy and so unrealistic. Not to mention that, again, the small things of what really make us happy. And I really do believe that it's one of the biggest reasons why so many people are so uncontent and are dissatisfied in their relationship or with their life, because it's too busy, either seeking out the fireworks and the big things, or just like too minded to get that peak and not enjoying the journey and not enjoying the small things along the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about that in a more like, like state of the earth today. And I won't go into that, but it's just, people are just so not happy, like just discontented, or uncontent. Like they just don't accept what they have. And I think, that we're in a world where we're told, you need to strive to be better, and all of this, if you practice 100 hours a year, this one skill,
Yeah.
which comes down to 18 minutes a day, then you'll be better than 80% of the population at this one skill, blah blah blah. And it's interesting. I mean, I think I get that, the idea is it's so easy to better yourself, but I think we forget that, hey, I mean, also this is what you have, and instead of wasting your time thinking about what you could have, you look at what you do have. And again, asterisk on this, because I can feel the trolls coming up, but this my sister got hit by her husband and rape and blah blah blah. So I obviously I'm not talking about these extreme situations. I'm talking about these average people, normal people, that if you're unhappy, just actually look at the positive, and probably there are ways to make it better. I've been watching Desperate Housewives, and love Desperate Housewives, and
I know.
and there's a point where, spoiler, there's like a divorce between Lynette and Tom, and I think they all divorce at one point or another. Anyway,
Yeah.
and then they kind of reflect on, starting all over and getting to know each other, whereas my ex was like this and like this, and and actually maybe we can make it work. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It
Valentine's
remind
Day. Oh
Yeah.
no.
No, it reminded me that I was watching Queer, the new season of Queer on Netflix. And there was one episode where they went to meet with this guy, and they were talking about how they got married and they had kids, and then somewhere in that relationship they started focusing too much on the kids and not enough on each other. So they lost touch with each other,
Yeah.
and so now the kids are out of the house and they don't know each other anymore, and they're not connected anymore. And so you need to, obviously, I don't have kids, I don't know what it's like, I know it's difficult, but you it's an investment. It takes work, and it's takes effort, and when you start neglecting it, it's not going to work anymore. And even if it's the right relationship for you, it takes maintenance, like anything else in life, like any other relationship. If you don't actually spend time with the person,
Yeah.
then you're just going to fall apart, or you're going to disconnect. You're going to grow, apart, and every person's going to have their own thing. And the longer it goes on, the harder it is to reconnect, because as humans, we're always growing, we're always evolving. And so when you're in a relationship, we have a tendency to do that together, because you're in sync, you share a life, so you grow together. But if you're not actually connecting, and if you're each living your own life, it doesn't matter if you live in the same house, you're going to grow apart. So
Yeah.
it's important, again, to celebrate that love, and yeah, in a way, maybe it's good to have Valentine's Day to remind us to do that, but it has to be a constant effort throughout the year as well, and to find your ways to remind you to do the thing. It's funny that it's like having to remind yourself that there's a child in the back seat and not leaving them in the car. But we're humans, things happen, we have to remind ourselves, and that if that's the way that we can do it, then so be it.
I mean, having, I think, reminders like this are also healthy, because I've done a lot of like self development work, and just bettering myself and working on myself a lot. And it's been years. It has been years since I've just started just like working on myself. And I'm only 32, and I kind of arrogantly thought at one point, oh yeah, I get it, I don't need to do the work anymore. And so I just took it for granted, and everything just slipped. And then I just got these reminders, of on Instagram or one of our chats or whatever, that actually I haven't been doing all of this stuff. I haven't been journaling as much, I haven't been working out as much, I haven't been meditating as much, and things like that. And you just realize that you just haven't been doing these things as much, and so you need that reminder. Same with your relationship. You can't take these things for granted. You do need these reminders to just get back into it. And so yeah, Valentine's Day or anniversary, or taking a vacation and things like that, and realizing you haven't had sex in a while, all these things are just reminders that it is just, you can't take these things for granted. You have to put just constant effort in all the time, renewing, and it's important. And anything that's a reminder of that is good. The other day I told JT, at the beginning of when we were together, anytime I was on my period, he'd bring me hot chocolate or whatever, because I get knocked out for like 2 or 3 days. It is just, I get knocked out. And he did that, and I told him the other day that, oh yeah, he hadn't done that in a while, but I said it in such a playful way, of just, I really didn't care, because I just didn't care that he didn't do that. And he was like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And it reminded him, he'd just forgotten that he did that for the first like 3 or 4 months of our relationship, and then it just stopped. And he was like, I don't want to be one of these guys that just does something at the beginning and then stops. I was like, it doesn't matter, it really doesn't matter. But he's still kind of like, no, it is something that you have to do constantly. It is, you put effort into work, you put effort into raising children, you put effort into your health, you have to put effort into your relationship. And I agree.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
and as he was saying, I need to do this, I was telling him, no, you don't. And I was, well, actually, yes, you do. You do need to do these things. And I need to not, to not make it, a small thing, and just making myself very small, and oh, you don't need to take care of me, because that's my thing that I tend to do when I'm in a relationship. I just tend to minimize my own